Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. The journey that led to this review had its genesis in mid-1995 with my first listen to the original Von Schweikert research VR4 loudspeakers. Driven by past labs electronics, in a room built to golden rectangle dimensions in southern Maryland, from that very first experience, I was inescapably drawn into their unique sonic universe because of their unmistakable ability to more closely represent the sound of the live performance. And since the introduction of the VSR VR4 Gen 2 in 1997, I have reviewed 11 different VSR or Von Schweikert audio models, 9 of which I subsequently purchased, and 3 of which I still own. As you watch this evaluation of the new VR.thirty Foundation, perhaps you will begin to understand how this brand and its unique products have earned my admiration and long-term allegiance. Though we had discussed this audition since the speaker's introduction at last year's Capitol Audio Fest 2024, a launch that I reported on with episode 201, the opportunity materialized in just a matter of days at the end of August. And to facilitate the process, I would have the privilege and honor of having Damon Von Schweikert, VSA's president and CEO, and my friend for over 2 decades, fly in to join me here in my Midwest listening room. Damon arrived late Friday evening, August 15th, and after a nice, cold Stella and some catching up, we schlepped the crates containing the speakers down from my garage into my downstairs listening space, where we uncrated the beautiful Lexus LC Structural Blue pair of speakers and plugged their amplifiers into the AC to allow them to settle and begin seasoning the Foundation amplifiers. Oh, and if you get a chance, ask Damon who suggested the use of the term Foundation to describe these new amplifiers. After another beer and more catching up, he headed back to his hotel to crash for the night in preparation for what was sure to be a long day on Saturday. Believe me when I tell you it was a frenetic visit, as he had an early departure planned for Sunday morning. I kept Damon quite busy, as our goals for the day included the final installation and setup of the new VR.thirty Foundation loudspeakers, upgrading my Ultra 9's original subwoofer amplifiers to the new, fully configurable Foundation series, and the recording of an episode, E248, for my YouTube channel. And after a nice, relaxing breakfast at Panera, he got right to work, with Stella's assistance, of course. Because the in-house designed footer for these speakers had shipped from a different location, they did not arrive until the Tuesday after Damon's departure. But I was able to install them in no time, and their very clever design and functionality allowed me to quickly dial in the VR.thirty Foundation's final placement, including getting them leveled with ease. These robust VSA-designed footers make them the most effective, easily adjustable, functional, factory-provided spikes or feet I've ever used. Kudos to Damon and the VSA design team. Standing just 41 inches tall, with a footprint just 11 inches wide by 23 inches deep at its base, and weighing just under 200 pounds each, other than the VSA entry-level 1, they are the most diminutive and affordable loudspeakers in the current VSA lineup. With its retail price of $59,000 a pair and its slight footprint and profile, the VR.thirty Foundation must be seen as a direct descendant of the original $60,000 a pair VR.55 Active, introduced at RMAF 2013. That model was succeeded by the $85,000 a pair VR.55 Mark II SE, then the identically priced VR.50, the current model which now supplants all previous versions of the VR.55. Not only was the VR.55 Active the last loudspeaker introduced to the VSA virtual reality speaker lineup by the company's late founder, Albert von Schweikert, before his retirement in the fall of 2015, but it was also my reference loudspeaker for 6 years, where they reigned until I replaced them with my current reference, the VSA Ultra 9, in June of 2020. But the benefits the VR.thirty Foundations offer, with its diminutive size, just an inch or two shy in every dimension than the VR.50, and its meticulously designed elevated performance, speaks to their remarkable achievement. Starting with their foundational bass sonics, it uses 3 Accuton AS168 drivers in a bass reflex loading. This remarkably accomplished 7-inch bass driver is the first of an entirely innovative approach from Accuton. Using an exceptionally hard aluminum oxide sandwich dome, first developed for their Cell series of bass drivers, its unique-looking hidden surround provides both a reduced outer diameter and a linear excursion of plus and minus 16 millimeters. That is nearly 2/3 of an inch of travel in each direction. Combined with its newly developed spider shape, offering more ideal acoustical centering, its overhung motor, which Accuton says combines the advantages of traditional over- and underhung designs, it is an ultra-low distortion driver that can deliver enormous linear excursion without compression, significant delay, or energy storage. For midrange, it uses the same 6.5-inch Accuton driver used in the previously mentioned VR.55 Active. This exceptional Scanpeak beryllium tweeter is the same one used in the current Ultra flagship series and the VR.50, providing an exceptional degree of detail and extension with superb dispersion. Finally, we find an adapted Fountek 3-inch ribbon tweeter mounted at the top of its rear-facing baffle. I'll have more to say on the significance of this driver and its use in the VSA Acoustic Inverse Replication component of their proprietary crossover network shortly. The term foundation describes the application of a custom 800-watt amplifier to power the exceptional Accuton woofers. Unlike speakers that rely on active DSP designs, a strategy that almost assuredly introduces signal-degrading time and phase distortions, the full-range signal passes completely through their analog crossover network. This approach preserves the distinct, uncompromised tonal characteristics of your preferred choice of power amplifier, while still delivering the increased dynamics and precise control of your in-room bass response. Further, remember that Fountek 3-inch ribbon tweeter mounted to the top of their rear baffle? Its individual signal comes from the VR.30's unique crossover and is also user-tunable with its variable control on the rear baffle. Formulated by experimentation conducted by the late Albert von Schweikert in the laboratories of Dr. Richard C. Heiser at Caltech as early as 1972, Albert first published his Acoustic Inverse Replication theory, known simply as AIR, in 1980 after 4 years of development, and it has long been at the core of their advanced and complex crossover design. The result is an adaptive ambience retrieval system radiating from the speaker's rear baffle, permitting it to recreate a considerably more natural sound field than other speakers, delivering a more articulate and precise portrayal of the space and depth of the recording's soundstage and image. It should be obvious at this point that an exclusive strength of this VR.thirty Foundation is this uniquely granular adjustability of both its bass and ambience contributions, providing listeners with this signature flexibility of placing and optimizing the VR.thirty Foundation, where they also look as well as sound their best. At the outset, I touched upon how unmistakably the Von Schweikert design approach more closely approximated the sounds of live music. One of those pronounced differences was their capacity to present the most authentic sounding bass I'd yet heard. They were not lean, polite, or characterless like the typically underwhelming, unimpressive bass performance offered by other hi-fi speakers of the day. And the VR.thirty Foundation not only follows in that tradition, it makes an emphatic statement. If a speaker's bass output is not tonally truthful, accurately extended, with distinctly defined pitch, the rest of the system's performance suffers, from its overall fidelity of tone, color, and balance to its recreation of the acoustic of the recordings. Thanks to the VR.thirty Foundation's intrinsic ability to provide an unmatched level of room integration in this class, their bass performance is nothing short of stunning. This is due in large part to the exquisite performance offered by these exceptional Accuton AS168 drivers and the way VSA has chosen to implement their loading. Bass is delivered with outstanding clarity, precise pitch definition, and a sense of unconstrained transient speed. Their ability to deliver an almost effortless sense of macrodynamic scaling, while also presenting refined microdynamic expression and shading, is reminiscent of much costlier loudspeakers. Returning to the significance of a loudspeaker's low-frequency performance, I want to point out how significantly their clear degree of elevated bass fluency contributes to the speaker's otherwise unfulfilled ability to completely express the spatial demarcations and full dimensionality of the acoustic environment of recordings, an achievement I have not heard matched, let alone surpassed, by any other loudspeaker in this class. Their performance here in my relatively large listening space, 46 feet long with a volume of 4,300 cubic feet. When taking room loading into account, these relatively diminutive VR.thirty Foundations were able to routinely and accurately recreate bass down into the incredibly low 20 Hz region. I cannot overemphasize just how significant I find this accomplishment, given both their size and price. Their resultant ability to convey both the skin tone and menacing power of the timpani from the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony with the 1981 MoFi Schulte CSO reissue, or to regenerate the musical drama that is served up by Jeff Porcaro's churning drum storm near the climax of It's a Miracle from Roger Waters' masterpiece, Amused to Death, from the 2023 Analog Productions 45 RPM LP reissue, is almost surreal. Their deft articulation and ability to present remarkably authentic dynamic scaling, pitch definition, body, timbral faithfulness, and faithful conveyance of weight, impact, and attack are simply unrivaled in this class, in my experience. Their mid-range presentation is remarkably convincing, open and articulate, presenting with highly accomplished levels of transient response, tone color, fundamental and harmonic structure, and texture, revealing their cultivated ability to uncover detail while also providing an extremely organic and involving presentation. Their generous degree of mid-range transparency manages to be articulate without being exaggerated or spotlit, presenting instrumental voices palpably fleshed out with ample body and bloom. The overall result is an engaging and organic listening experience that allows the listener to be emotionally drawn into, to connect with the performance. And while they are unable to offer the more complete density and refined texture accomplished by more costly speakers like the VSA Ultra series, they do present mid-range magic that seduces. Treble here is focused, with the uppermost registers articulated with no hint of sterility, glare, or that anything is left unrevealed. They treat you to an exceptional degree of pure, uncongested detail with vivid attack and engagingly ambient decay, recording permitting, of course, delivering an open and spectacularly airy top end. Their ability to accurately express the full tonal and textural nature of intricate percussion instruments like cymbals and triangles is exceptional, with that kind of shimmery warmth that you expect to hear live. Oh, and because the VR.thirty Foundation's sophisticated crossover delivers only high-frequency reverberant information from the recording to that rear-mounted Fountek 3-inch ribbon, when its fine-tuned contribution is combined with the overall front wave launch, the speaker regenerates a spaciousness and depth of field that no other manufacturer's speakers can begin to approach. The result is an almost magical ability to regenerate the space of performances, recording permitting, of course, in a much more realistic, three-dimensional, spacious, and corporal manner than any speaker from any competitor in my experience, and by a considerable margin. Clearly, no loudspeaker is perfect. But when you tally up all of the new Von Schweikert Audio VR.thirty Foundation's assets, from its exceptionally refined and dramatic bass accomplishments, its resolute and expressive mid-range and treble, its ability to render the most corporal, complete, and authentic space of recordings, and its freedom and versatility of room placement and integration, what the VR.thirty Foundation accomplishes at its price is simply unrivaled in my experience. While I would in no way imply that at its $60,000 asking price, it can be considered affordable or accessible to most listeners' budgets. But I can just as confidently state that given its clearly elevated level of performance, augmented by the unequaled degree of versatility of placement and room integration it offers, it clearly represents an exceptional value for those with the ability to make it part of their system. I'm simply unfamiliar with any other speaker in this class with such significant strengths. It would seem that Von Schweikert Audio has delivered yet another overachieving model with this new virtual reality series loudspeaker. In closing, I want to add that this will be my last full episode until after the new year. Stella and I wish you all a safe, peaceful, restorative, and joyous holiday season, filled, of course, with music. As always, thank you for watching today. Further information on supporting the channel and my efforts may be found in today's description section or at my companion website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and have a wonderful holiday season, and keep the music playing. Till next year, cheers.